Alright, I just wanted to hop on here and make a quick video. I've got a 2003 Chevy Silverado 2500 with the 6.6 Duramax, and I just replaced my starter. So along the way I found a couple of tricks. Taking off the fender liner, I actually took off my wheel as well just to give myself a lot more extra space. So pulling it out, I ended up removing the entire exhaust from the downpipe. So it's actually laying right down there. I just kind of pulled the clamps off, and I'll show you here. This is down under the truck. So if you're down under there, that's where the exhaust dropped down from. There's your downpipe right there, and it would come here. So I just pulled it out of this hanger, and then I took my bracket off. And I have an aftermarket. It's a 4-inch, so it might be different from stock, but it's still the same concept. Here's your clamp. So pulling that all the way out just makes dropping it out 10 times easier. So I have the sizes over here. So your electrical connections, the bottom one, the small one, is an 8. The top is a little bit bigger, it's a 13. And then I used a deep socket 15 to get the two mounting bolts. And when you're getting the mounting bolts, I actually found that there's 2 extensions. All right, so I have a super long one, and then I used another one here. So I put those together. Slap them together real quick. So putting these together, and I actually routed it towards the back of the truck first. All right, so I put my bolt here. Let me just stick it on there, actually. Put this up right there. Don't fall. All right. So that bottom bolt is on the bottom side. Let me see if I can get a better view of it. You can see it right here. So there's your bottom one. The top one is right here. So to get to that bottom one, I just shot my extensions towards the front of the truck. So I routed it back. And then I didn't feel like working it from the front. So I just kind of finagled it like this. And I worked its way through. Alright, and I just kept working it, and then boom. So it'll sit right in there. And then when you come onto the front of the truck, you'll actually see it's right there. Alright, so I set it in place up in front, and then it's perfect. It sits between these two right here, so that way it makes it a lot easier. And I actually used the smaller one, so I used a 3/8 instead of a 1/2 inch, just because I knew the bolts weren't very tight because they weren't rusted or super stuck, so that you can see it's right there. So I just wiggled it on there, got it set, went to the other side, and popped it off. Now you want to leave your top bolt. I cracked it and then I left it on there so that when I pulled the bottom one out, it didn't fall on me or fall just straight to the ground. So then I pulled those out. You have plenty of room right through here. These trans lines don't get in the way. I had plenty of room to get the new one in there and get that finagled through there. So getting these electrical connections out of the way, I just propped them up on this manifold just to get them out of the way so they didn't get tangled. But I also made sure that I cleaned my connections. So I just used the stainless steel wire brush to get in there and scratch them off and make sure that they were all good. But there's all of your tools. Like I said, mine weren't super tight. Just because they weren't super rusted, yours might be a little bit different, but there's a couple of tips and tricks to getting your new starter in hassle-free.